Hammers, and you're listening to Music Row.
Welcome to Music Row, a backstage pass to your favorite country artists. Here's your host, Leake.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for all the shares. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Music Row podcast right now so you don't miss the next one. It's upsetting when I hear, oh man, I didn't know that you had that guest on. It's like, well, subscribe, and then it just populates your feed. It's what we can do here. Appreciate it. On today's program, the Roadhammers. I got to talk to the Roadhammers just prior to the Ontario Country Music Awards, where Jason has hosted, I think, forever. And he always does a great job. He's hosted the CCMA's gala. He does an incredible job. I mean, the guy is good. Really, really good. And to anybody who says, oh, hosting is easy, you can shut up right now, because it is not. And it's about making it look easy. And that's what Jason does. Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because at the CMAOs, Jason McCoy was honored with the inaugural Real McCoy Award. And the idea behind this is it's a new award created to recognize an individual who truly represents the spirit of Ontario's country music community. The guy is a giver. The guy is always helping out. The guy is always there to participate, lend a hand. Well done, Jason McCoy. Congratulations to you. Talking to the Roadhammers in just a bit. If you want to see them, they got dates all over the place, including playing Country Thunder in Craven, which looks really good. I have to, point out, though, that every once in a while, you read things really fast and you go, did I read that right? Or I got a note. It was a press release about Country Thunder, and I thought, well, you're going to laugh at this. The press release goes that Country Thunder has 19 plus beer gardens on their site. I'm like, I read this and my mind goes, oh my God, they have so many beer gardens. They don't even know how many beer gardens they have. This is incredible. Then my brain went, no, dummy, you got to be 19 plus to get into the beer garden. But for a moment there, I thought, got to load up the truck. Going to Craven, July 10 through 14. We're going to go see some bands, including the Roadhammers. We'll check in with them in only a few seconds away, but also playing Country Thunder. Jason Aldean, Bailey Zimmerman, Def Leppard, the Hunter Brothers, and Jess Moskaluk are playing this, and they're both from Saskatchewan, so I imagine they'll just be riding their bikes there. Kip Moore, Tyler Hubbard, James Barker Band, Roadhammers, as we did mention. So it's 4 days, Craven, Saskatchewan. It's going to be a gooder. You should go check that out and say hi to the Roadhammers and congratulate Jason on the Real McCoy Award. Well named. I like it. Some news here. The story, it keeps on circulating back through the feed, so we're going to bring it up again, but it was at the AMAs where Megan Moroney is presenting with Shabuzi. And I don't know if you caught it, but Megan is up there on stage. She's reading a provided script off a teleprompter, and she mentions about the Carter family being influential to country music, being the first to kind of get it going. And Shabuzi kind of went, huh? Because let's argue this. Country music was created by blacks. Black artists were the beginning of it that influenced the Carter family. Anyhow, there's a lot of people who are still bringing this up about how he gave her the side eye with a what the. Let's just stop hating. She's a wonderful performer, a nice person, allegedly, and she's reading a script that someone provided. But it's still kind of spinning around on the virals. Kelsey Ballerini is saying that she might not only take a break from touring when it's all done, she might actually go to The Voice. So she's going to slow down, focus on some new creative projects, but some TV time on The Voice is definitely a possibility.
Wherever there's a heartbeat and a stage, there's an artist set to perform. This is Music Row on Tour.
Brought to you by the Pecan Artists Agency, connecting bands and fans worldwide. Cameron Whitcomb, he's got the 100 Mile High Tour. Oh, I didn't catch that earlier. 100 Mile High Tour. Considering all the good times, high times he may have had back in the day, that's interesting. August 1st, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, playing O'Brien's Event Center. On the 2nd, Winnipeg, Manitoba. The Reclaws are playing Kita Bala on August 1st. And the Roadhammers have tour dates all over the place, including a number of Australian dates coming up towards the end of August. Jason, Clayton, and Chris, the Roadhammers, are coming up on the Music Row podcast.
Hi, my name is Kim Stockwood. I am a proud Newfoundlander and a Canadian singer-songwriter. In a landscape where many lack access to health benefits or employee assistance programs, the Unison Fund serves as a lifeline of hope for musicians and music industry professionals facing medical emergencies or mental health challenges. To learn more about Unison and their programs, please visit unisonfund.ca.
Hey, we're the Roadhammers. You're listening to Music Row with Leake.
With a band like the Roadhammers and the history, the artistry, you guys have come across some wild towns along the way. What would you say is that Canadian city, outside of the majors, everyone's going to flag one city or another. What's that town that's like, man, this town gives?
I've seen some shit, man.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think, just off the beaten path, Brandon always brings it because they're just, they're off the beaten path from Winnipeg, but still get all the parties, right?
I get it.
It's pretty awesome. I think Winnipeg, your hometown of Bonnyville, Cold Lake, Northern Alberta's awesome. You know what? Places on the East Coast you wouldn't think of, like Kentville, Kentville.
I'm going with yes on both of those.
There you go.
Both of those towns are great.
Just to tell you how big of a party it was, I'm not even sure how to pronounce your town. But it's fantastic. And the best part about what we do is we get to see all those small towns, but we get to spend time with the people who make them, magic like they are. Because you get to meet all the people who set the show up and promote the show and drive you around. You get the front row seat to all the awesome stuff.
I will say that I'm jaded and all that stuff. I went out, we did a show in Orangeville once, and I thought, why would this work? And it filled an arena in Orangeville. There was a couple thousand people who came out, and you forget that Orangeville, as much as it's a part of, call it the greater or the Southern Ontario region, and there's millions of populace around, millions of people, they don't want to drive the 2.5 hours to go see another show. Like, they want to hang out where they are. Yeah.
And
take an Uber.
Yeah, it's like in there's a lot of places in Alberta and Saskatchewan where in the middle of a prairie is just a community hall or a rodeo grounds, and there's no buildings around it. Like there's nothing, and you'll pull in to go do a gig, and you'll think, where, are we being punked? But then like 5,000 people from the surrounding area all pull in because they want to hang out where they live. They don't want to go into a major center to see a show.
But you got to be careful in some of those centers though too, because you're competing against maybe curling on a Friday night or.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, it's just as big a show. Have a recording artist in there as it is to a tractor pull or something like that. But really, all it tells you is that it's the community that is the show. You know what I mean? And the cool part about our job is we get to be the soundtrack to the party. So if it's going to be a rock and roll show, they bring the party, we bring the music.
And we're some pretty badass curlers ourselves, so don't.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting that you're not by any means.
Curlers, man.
This interview is over.
Curling, though, is probably one of those sports that is people take it for granted as to how difficult it actually is, in the sense like you think like, oh, anyone can curl, but try it once and you probably won't walk for a week because no one ever bends that way.
Well, curling we always say hockey is the Canadian sport. I don't know, man. I know curling's got the Scottish roots and all that, but it's definitely Canadian. I've played some Northern Ontario, and I'm talking way Northern Ontario, like Bonspiels over the years. It's they should do a TV series about it.
You know what? That should be a TV series, I believe, that should be hosted by the Roadhammers.
And Jackie Ray Greening.
There you go.
From CFCW. She's a curling champion.
You guys are road champions, hence the name. Then it was you guys were the champions of the road yourselves before Roadhammers kind of came along. When did you find that the Roadhammers had their groove or had their niche? I know it's like you can have a first date and it seems like everything was going good, but it's a couple months in, a couple shows where you go, oh, wait a minute. We got something here. It's clicking. When do you think it felt like it was clicking for you guys?
We're still waiting.
Kind of waiting for it. We're waiting for the top of the mountain.
I don't know. I think that in the beginning when the album first came out, it was that how is the band, because you have three front men who are all used to doing their own thing. There was that kind of time where we were trying to figure out how we interact and react on stage. But after that first initial cross Canadian tour in like 2006,
Crazy.
I felt like
almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, the band was really came together as far as what our jobs are on stage, and also I really felt like that was where the fans were really grabbing onto it. I could really tell like there was nothing like it at the time when we came on the scene, and the country rock thing wasn't a thing yet, and it was pretty wild.
Do you have to kind of manage yourselves in the studio in the sense of we can't be too much of a rock, we can't be too much of a country? Or has that all changed in the last 20 years because it seems like the formats are all over the place?
I think if you, the second you start like branding is important, right? It's like, do we do this or we not do this? But I think if you start from that point, it's over right away. Like, we got stuff on the new record that's, pretty rock and roll. We got some special guests on it that is, way in the rock and roll lane. We've got the other stuff that's kind of in the R&B lane. And I'd say write it all, record it all. It doesn't mean you're going to use it, but if you start through a filter, I think you're going to kill it. I think if you're like, well, we don't normally do that. It's like, well, follow it. You never know. And there's a lot of stuff I've written for other people that is not something I would typically write. I mean, if I was only going to do what I was, what I loved growing up, I'd try to be Merle Haggard every day, but you got to expand.
I always marvel when an artist says that I wrote a song and I gave it to somebody else, because how do you know that it's not your song considering you came up with it? Like, I don't know how artists find that divide.
I wrote a song for this great artist called Tyler Booth. He's absolutely awesome. And the song was called Stone Cold High and Dry. And it's it's blown up on TikTok, the whole thing. And it's more outlaw than I would do, but like we're more, trucker rock, that kind of thing. This is more, I don't know. It's just a younger outlaw thing. And I don't think I could sing it. He sings it great. And so that's his song. We've all had songs recorded by other artists that just, maybe it's not the right time for you. Maybe it's not where your recording, path is taking you, right? I think you have to write the song, though. You have to do it. Like, man, we've written songs goofing around just that are really cool pop songs that maybe don't fit us. Someday they'll have a life. They're sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, you got to follow the muse, because I think that otherwise you're kind of doing yourself a disservice creatively. You have to put that first. Where's the song taking you? Go in that direction. Write a great song. And then what we've always done is we just compile all of this big pile of songs.
Pile of what?
Yeah. Sometimes it's a big pile of shit.
Gigantic pile.
But and then you sift through separating the wheat from the chaff, and you go, okay, this song is definitely, that fits the Roadhammer lane. Let's put that over here. And then you start finding a couple of key songs to build the album around, and that's kind of how we've always operated. And also outside songs, we've always looked at doing covers, or somebody else writes a song and we think it's great for us. We're not afraid to cut it.
That's another thing. Like, what covers you play, and when you've only got so much time. When you're playing a festival, by and large, you have a drop dead. This is your set time, and your set is ending. So you guys, with 19 years of touring and 19 years of music behind you, that now becomes a difficult thing, a challenge for you as to what you're going to even play. Say when you're at Country Thunder.
Well, I was just going to say, at Country Thunder, it's 60 minutes set, and we've got, 20 years of hits. That's pretty dang cool to be able to say that we've got 20 years worth of hits. But
19 CCMA nominations, 1 Juno, 6 CCMA awards, and one hell of a host at the CCMAs, maybe once or twice.
And we got to get you out on the road or introducing us before the show.
Yeah, you're going to come out. You're our hype man. All these rapper guys have a hype man. You're the hype man.
You know what the funny thing is? All those facts were wrong. You just went,
yeah. That's fantastic. We did what?
Matter.
Well, you know what? Like it is neat. Like you have a 60-minute set, It's nothing but the hits, 20 years of hits. But when we're making a record as well, we look at it like a set list, right? It's got to have a beginning and an ending. If it's a 6-song EP, whatever it is, it's like, hey, man, we don't have this type of ballad. We don't have this type of thing. And you're talking about branding. You don't want to rehash the past all the time, but you do have stuff that people expect. So we might cut 10 songs, use 6 of them, and then those other 4 slide over here, might use them in the future. So, but it has to feel like a ride. It can't just feel like here's a bunch of songs. You got to have some dimension, and that's what it's all about.
I was looking at the stage earlier on when I first came in, and I saw you had all the tracks that you're rehearsing right now, and you have it timed out. You have it timed out to 47 minutes and 34 seconds. You know what this is going to be. How long did it take for you guys, the Roadhammers, to know that 47:37 actually equates to 59:59 because of all the talk that's going in between and possible changes?
Well, you know what's funny is like a lot of the show, a lot of the segues and stuff like that, I think we worked out on our first tour. And a lot of the things we did from our first Cross Canada tour, which was a lot of clubs and things like that, we had a longer set and we could mess around, make mistakes, break some eggs to make the cake, right? And that's where we found the magic. So we'd go, oh, this song segues very well into this. And those moments are magic, and you don't really want to change those. You put new things in, but there's some segues and some moments in the show that are just as much of a mainstay as some of the songs. And that's where we found those golden nuggets. So you got to keep them up.
Right. It's the same as what you said earlier. The album has a start and a finish. Same thing with being on stage, whether it's in between the songs or if you're first getting on the stage.
And we also like to have that, there's a little bit of that time in there for every night is a different night. We might do an audible and just pull a song out of the air and that's not on the set list, or, change things up depending on what the crowd is doing, and we leave that little buffer of time in there to go, okay, well, we want every show to be a bit of an adventure, not just a regurgitation.
Clayton, I've heard that some bands once in a while don't mind it when the strings break or the amp blows or something like that, and they power through it just because it changes up the entire evening.
Well, I will, make mention of a story. Was it last year or the year before? My guitars didn't show up to the gig, so I had to rent a guitar and one pedal, and I just plugged basically directly into the amp and played the show. And it was the best show I played all summer because I wasn't thinking about it. It was completely broke me out of my routine, and I just had to play somebody's guitar and plug it into an amp that I didn't own and do pedals I didn't have, and I had a blast.
How did you find a guitar last second? Like, that's some pretty good improvisation. You have a good team that you're working with.
Stores, absolutely.
Yeah,
Long and McQuaid save us all the time.
I literally pulled one off the wall and just went, I'll take this.
Look, it took me an hour and 15 minutes to go maybe 18 kilometers today. I'm saying when you're a band, you are on such a schedule, you don't have that window of let's go guitar renting and stuff like that. So it's impressive.
That's true. But it's not just the instruments too. Like sometimes it's the setting. Remember we had that big East Coast, blackout, all the power went down in I want to say 01, 99, somewhere. I was way, way back.
It was, I remember exactly.
He's the facts guy. Yeah.
It was 2003.
Okay.
It was August 15th.
All right. August 15th.
Maybe it was the 14th, but it affected me on the 15th.
I want to know that story in a minute because obviously something happened to you on the 14th or 15th we need to know about. So I was playing in Southern Ontario and I was at a racetrack and there's this big, metal building, off the racetrack and stuff. And we were on the infield and we were setting up, we're doing the sound check, and all of a sudden the PA and everything just went out. And I thought, blew a generator or something, right? And then we find out this rolling blackout. It was terrible. So we moved everything inside. We got other generators. We put up work lights and stuff like that. I still get people sending emails saying like this was like the best show ever because, we had to unplug, we had to go acoustic, improvise. And that's what a Roadhammer show should be as well. If we break a string, something snaps, whatever it is, the party goes on. Everybody there is going to get a show and have a great time, and we roll with the punches.
I don't think that they would allow like workplace safety and all that stuff would step in today, where 22 years ago you could maybe get away with that. But if you're running generators just to keep some lights on in a place and stuff, I have a feeling that they wouldn't even let that happen today.
Well, that's not our people then. We don't want to. We don't want to be there.
We don't like those people.
Yeah, it's wild when you got to consider too, in 2003, no one had a smartphone. Barely, most people didn't even have a cell phone at that point compared to the penetration of
the good old days.
Yeah, when we started touring individually, we didn't have cell phones. When I started touring, we were in a motorhome. It was myself, my wife, and we had a paper map, and it was a totally different world. But the one thing that stayed the same is the fans.
It's crazy too to consider you got a paper map and you actually will always remember those streets because you're looking at the map and you're retaining it, where today it's your phone just says turn left and
it boggles
could be
my
a lake.
mind. Like we used to roll, and you're always traveling after the show in the middle of the night with a paper map, pulling over on the side of the road and looking under the wheel light, trying to figure out where you're going. Like that's how we rolled, and a roll of quarters to phone home from the payphone from the bar. That's once a week I was like all of us, like 18 years old, 17, 18 years old, out on the road touring, and I'd phone home from Wisconsin or North Dakota or wherever I was, check in with the folks and make sure to let them know that I was still alive. And now I think about, everybody's like got to have the tracking device on their kid. And I'm like, man, I was just like crisscrossing North America in a van with a bunch of dudes that I hardly ever knew.
But no bad stuff or weird stuff ever happened.
Nothing bad or weird.
No,
nothing weird happened to you guys?
It
was every day for me. Oh my God.
Well, it's also the good news about touring when you were 18 and there wasn't all the smartphones and all that stuff. You didn't know that town in Nebraska or whatever was good or bad.
And that's the best part. You didn't know what you didn't know. And that's how life should be. I think you can't worry about, you got to live in the moment, right? And that's very important. And a lot of people say, what would you say to young artists, that are just starting out? It's like, be yourself and go for it. And that's it.
I asked a friend of mine that the other day. I said, what do you tell young artists today? He goes, they don't ask me anything.
Don't ask me if you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the summer for bands can be a little bit of a working holiday. I know a lot of artists like to get to the festival site early, and they like to hang out because they don't normally have that in their schedule, like a time to break and meet with all these other bands. Is that like the Roadheimers too? You like to be backstage, enjoying some barbecue at a festival and seeing other people? Or are you more like, no, it's business. We cannot hang. We need to get there, do our job, and then maybe get 2 hours of hang afterwards.
I think when you play a festival like Craven specifically, I mean, it's, it's been around so long, it's a tradition. So, and the music business is one big family. So that's kind of like, some of the festivals are pretty hurried and rushed. And that one there just seems like it's obviously being a prairie, festival and all that, there's a more relaxed atmosphere to it. And I find that is really like a homecoming party. So you want to take the time, and they really embrace artists, and they really take care of us. I mean, they'd spoil us. It's a great festival. So there is a place for us to do that. And it's, I'd say Craven more than most is a great chill place backstage.
Have you ever had one of those moments where they've cut your sound on stage because you're having just too much fun and the next band is coming on?
Or you're playing too long?
I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in Montreal where they have stages side by side. They're both headlining column stages.
Yeah.
And someone's singing along and all of a sudden there's no more audio.
Wow.
And they can't tell. They just think their in-ears are blown out.
Well, how would we know? We don't know.
No,
Maybe they have.
We've never had that happen before, but we've had instances where we've been playing with opening bands, we've been playing as an opening band when we were touring in the U.S., where the headliner crew has turned down the amps under the stage so that we couldn't be as loud as them or we couldn't sound as good as them.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, they sabotage your set.
People are so freaked out by that stuff. It's like, why not just be good and not worry about it?
Exactly, but it does not work like that, and people are, it's a ruthless business, and
a shout out to Kenny Chesney. Remember, we did that show with him in Calgary, and he gave us full production. They can use video, all the lights, all the PA.
Yeah, as loud as we want to be.
Kenny Chesney.
And the other thing is they weren't worried about the set length. It was just full on. So Chesney, there's a lot of artists like that are, super supporters, and we want to do the same thing to younger artists.
Well, logically, if you're the headliner and your name is on the bill, Kenny Chesney, he wins by everybody walking away from a full event. People showed up and they caught whichever band it was that opened up, and event started bang on. It wasn't, it's just the opening act. They don't even have the screens on. Yeah. It's just the opening act. It's barely loud.
I never understood that. Like,
don't walk the catwalk. How dare you?
If you're going to have an opening act, you want to give them every tool in the box to make it a great show. And they're not taking away, the people are there to see, the headliner in whatever capacity that is. And if somebody new is on the bill, they want to become fans, or they're already fans and they want to see that person in the best light. You're right. It's the whole show that is the ticket. So I never understood why some headliners don't want to give the full meal deal to the opener.
And then you turn around too, and you guys still to this day, that was years ago, you're like, that Kenny Chesney. That's the guy you want.
The fans as well. They're like, man, that was the best show, top to bottom.
Yeah, we hear about that one a lot. But
he's got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that's the thing. The headliner has nothing to worry about. But people's insecurities come in and whatever else, or maybe it's not even the artist. You get other crews or management and all these people involved, and things can sometimes go sideways. But it was really great. That was when we walked in with those guys. Right away they were like, anything you need.
That's the thing. The Roadhammers have met so many people over the years. There's so many friendships that you've been able to create and stuff. And you're talking about a new album with all kinds of people who are going to be part of this release. What do you say? Like, I see today, everything is a collab, it seems. Like, when you look at the top of the charts right now, Morgan Wallen's number one right now is with Tate McRae.
Yeah.
And how
Morgan
she
Wallen,
ended up in the
Morgan
country space.
Wallen with,
Exactly. So are you cognizant of that? Or are you like, wait a minute, we should be partnering up with some people? Or are you like,
yeah. And we have, we have on this new album, we have in the past, and I think it's more interesting for the fans. It broadens your fan base. It broadens the other artists' fan base as well. Plus, it's just interesting. Music can be real formulaic, but if you get these other artists on your song, it's like, hey, what about this? How about we try that? And that's what it's like writing too, right? Like Chris comes from the blues world, Clay comes from the rock world, I come from the country world. And when you put that together, you can't just be the same old. You've got to change, and that's where it stays interesting.
With you all being songwriters, do you give that song, it's finalized, and you've got someone who's going to be on the track with you. Do you just send the song to them and say, interpret away? Or are you giving 100% guidance saying, you got to come back with it like package A?
No, we did. We collaborated with Colt Ford. We did a remake of the Hillbilly Highway, Steve Earle classic, and we sent it to him. And man, he just did his thing. And it was it. If we asked them to be on the song, it's because they do something unique. And like if we corralled them into doing something we wanted, well, there's no sense in having them on the song. They've got to do their thing.
Yeah, they bring their own flavor to it, which is exciting. Like this on the new album. We have a song called Till the Wheels Fall Off, and we've got some incredible Canadian rock and roll icons singing and playing on the record. And we just sent them the file and said, here, what do you think? Sing along with this. What do you want to do? And they did their thing, and it was awesome.
What a perfect title for a Roadhammers
Till the Wheels Fall
song.
Off.
Like,
man, that's all, it's fun when you write songs. And sometimes I've always said my songwriting bar, not sometimes on songs, is like, you have to be able to see it on a t-shirt. It's like that to me is a song title. You've got to have.
I've never heard anyone say that. It has to be seen on a t-shirt.
If you can put it on a t-shirt, then it's like Freebird, like you can put that, or Sweet Home Alabama, or whatever it is, like you till the wheels fall off. Like I can see, when I'm writing a song, I want to create a little mini movie, and I want them to be blockbusters, right? Not like little weird things. I want it to be a big grandiose statement. And if you can put it on a t-shirt, you can write it.
Isn't it great when you get to release these albums too? You got this whole t-shirt full of songs. You get to play these songs on stage, and the ones that you think are going to connect when they hit. And then there's some that they might take a year until it comes around. And finally it's like, oh, we can play this one now. But then you got the opposite side where you play a song, you guys are in the studio, and I know your songs are all your children. dear to your heart. And has there been a time where the Roadhammers went, why don't they like that song? This is our favorite song. We love playing this one.
Yeah, it's been a few.
Yeah, there's a lot of times there's, you'll it's not as much now as it used to be, because when you put out an album with 10 songs, 2 songs get singled and the rest of the album, doesn't get as much love on the radio or whatever else. But nowadays, with the one thing that I do like is that it's more gone back to like the 50s style, where everything is a single. Every song is a single. It's not, just put out an album and only a couple songs get heard. So I like that idea that, each song has a chance to get out to and build and find an audience.
But what are the songs? So here's the hidden gems. So a couple of them. For me, Cowboy Till I Die. We put it in the set like every 3 years. Like, we got to do the song. It's so great, and we just, we've never singled it, but it's like maybe we should. And now the song is Annie.
All My Friends.
Detroit Allison. All My Friends. There's great ones.
But now we have lots more data that's coming in, right? Where are the Roadhammers in this new world of data? We went from a band that didn't have a cell phone on tour to where everyone has to now participate with media. And I heard some bands are like, this is crushing. I was talking with an artist the other day who said, bands think that the music is, I'm misquoting, that the money is in the music, but it's the social that's pushing the sounds. And he's just like, this is deflating. I got into this to play sounds.
It kind of is, and it's kind of not. I mean, because, when we started out, you'd have to get in that bus and you'd have to go to all these towns to connect with the fans, which you still want to do because it's live.
Physically shaking hands.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's exactly. Yeah. So interfacing physically. But when you do, like we're up, we just filmed a video. We're showing some behind the scenes stuff. And our social numbers, we've been kind of, sitting in the background for a little while. Our social numbers have jumped like tens of thousands of people. So we know the appetite's there, and then they're chiming in saying, "Man, love this song, love that song, or this new song reminds me of that." Is you're engaging with these fans. They can be in Dawson Creek, they can be in Halifax, wherever it is, and it's immediate.
I think too, with an artist, you take for granted what you do for a career. Like your job is what someone fantasizes about doing Friday night at karaoke, but you're doing it day in, and there's little nuances where you're capturing backstage. What was something that you maybe captured backstage recently that was like, well, people really dug this content? Meanwhile, it was just you guys making sandwiches.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's all of that. I think sometimes people, they fantasize about the job, but they don't realize the amount of work that actually goes into, like, this is all the fun stuff. Playing the music, we would do that for free, because we love to play music, but it's all the hours and of work and travel and practice and things that go into getting to the show. That is the job part. But, just speaking of content, just like last week when we were filming that music video, all of the fun stuff and the people that we were meeting behind the scenes was great. And we were seeing that reaction with thousands of people online going, yeah, this is cool. We can't wait to see it, or wish we were there.
It's funny too, because you're there shooting a video for yourselves, and it's a 24-hour process. It goes into final editing and all that stuff. Same thing with your shooting something backstage quickly on your phone. It's a 30-second clip that you'll end up putting out there, but it takes hours to edit and cut and do all this extra work. But
all
it's
of our hair and makeup.
It's part of the gig. The lighting,
all of his hair and makeup.
Yeah.
One of the most important things, and I've forgotten this over the years, and you forget it at times, but Sound Emporium Studio is one of the most classic studios in Nashville, and we record there all the time. And we were just down there working on the new music, and Cowboy Jack Clement started the studio, and his saying was always, "Hey, we're in the fun business, so if we're not having fun, we're not doing it right." And that's, you got to remember that. It's a lot of hard work to get there, but it's the same as roofing a house. Like, people see a roof and they go, it's done. But I mean, it's not just the labor of putting the shingles on. It's all the work of building that business to get to the point where you can. And that's where we're at.
Most of my neighbors don't know they have roofs on their houses.
Yeah, right.
And they for sure are not getting up there anytime soon. 2025, let's set it up. Where are the Roadhammers? We know we're going to be at Country Thunder. I know you've got, I saw dozens of dates coming up. Is Is it more of a weekend thing that you enjoy, or do you like getting on the road and saying, we're going to go for 3 weeks
Just
straight?
Mondays. We only play Mondays.
Monday nights. Yeah.
It's like Monday night football, Monday night road hammers.
Monday in Sudbury.
Yeah.
But what is set up 2025? The summer of 2025.
2025. We've got a full slate of festivals gearing up for the new music, which is coming out later in the summer toward the fall. A couple of trips to Australia. We're going to be down in Gympie at the Gympie Muster in August. Savannah in the Round in October. A couple of things in the works for the UK. We've got some shows, just starting to kind of ramp up with the new music for the US. So there's a lot going on, especially getting into 2026, which is really going to be a busy one for the Hammers.
So this is going to be your fun summer. This is like your diet summer because all the other stuff is done.
Diet summer.
You say so.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. We got, because of the new album, we're going to be busy promoting and chasing that down the road and getting it to the fans. So we're excited about it.
Thanks for doing this, guys.
Thank you for doing this, man. Your podcasts are fantastic, and just as much as we know how much it takes to put on a show, it takes a lot of work to arrange this stuff, research it, man. Your facts and stats are off the hook.
Thank you.
It's great. You do a great job, and thanks for keeping us all informed.
Yeah, awesome.
Follow Music Row on X at Music Row Country, on Instagram at Music Row Official. Music Row is produced by Shed of Dreams.